The executive order just said to create one, but working together with Carl Waddenston and others who've been part of mentor programs in their business practices, we put together what we think is a really innovative program, pairing leaders with expertise and experience who care about Rhode Island with government leaders to improve the place that we live and work. So thank you very much to the 20 mentors who've leaned in and offered your service to promote leadership and transform government in Rhode Island. You are bringing your expertise and talents to bear in a way that's making a tangible difference and benefits our great state. Thank you also to my colleagues in government for your open-mindedness and your willingness to really embrace a tool and a proven way of improving both service and motivating and empowering people in a way that I think will have lasting impact well after we move on. So DM has been involved in Lean for about 4 years now.
Good morning. I'm Bud Craddock, I'm the administrator for the DMV. And since the governor's executive order, we've had 2 very successful Lean events, Lean Kaizens, that have produced some dramatic results. The first one involved individuals who have had their licenses suspended for motor vehicle violations revolving around alcohol sanctions. They'd have to come to the DMV for a hearing, and those hearings could be very, very painful for the people. So we brought together a team who were able to look at the process, and they were able to reduce the steps in that process by about 31%. That translated to a reduction in the wait times of about 1/3 for the individuals that come through the door. Teams challenged the old way of doing things. They thought outside the box, and they were empowered to make the changes necessary to bring around those successful changes. The second event that you're going to be hearing about shortly was even more dramatic. And those events really would not have been possible if it had not been for the dedication, the enthusiasm of the employees, the staff that participated in it. I think they found it very enjoyable because they were able to see that they were able to actually bring about the changes necessary to bring about improvement for the customer service output for the DMV. So right now I'd like to introduce Nancy Tracy, who is the leader of that second Kaizen event.
Thank you, Bud. Good morning, everyone. When I heard DMV was going to participate in the Lean Initiative Governor Raimondo introduced, I knew immediately what process would be most beneficial for our customers. I couldn't wait to get started. The Title I process is what we chose for our Lean Initiative. This is the workflow process of a title after it's been held in the 28-day queue. Our team included staff of the DMV as well as staff of Department of Information Technology. After the 3-day session, our team really understood where our lead time, where the title sat idle, was problematic. In one of our sessions, we realized we really didn't know the process once the titles left our building, so we took a trip over to the mail center to see the process there. We now knew we were now able to identify our downtime, which was also referred to as the waste time. The Title I process was now prioritized to be done at the DMV, first thing every morning by the DMV staff. This allowed the titles to be picked up at the DMV during the morning pickup and delivered to the ELC, the mail center. The Title Run was also prioritized at the mail center to be ready for the 2 p.m. mail pickup from the United States Postal Service. This small change cut our lead time from 8.6 days to 2.3 days. This change was effective immediately. It has reduced the volume of calls from our lending institutions looking for their titles, as well as getting the titles to our customers sooner. Thank you, Andy, and thank you, Dr. Raimondo, for giving this opportunity to the DMV, and we will continue with this knowledge to improve our processes at the Division of Motor Vehicles.
I'm Matthew McCleary, the Director of the Department of Business Regulation. This is John Mancone, our Lean Team Leader. DBR embarked upon, this is our 4th Lean, the liquor license one, since the executive order. It is a huge part of our transformation culture. We do at least one Lean event every quarter at the DBR. We actually did 2 the first 2 quarters to get started. And this liquor license team was interesting and we thought worth sharing because it was A, our most recent, B, it actually is a cross-agency team. So we worked with taxation, who was a critical part of our process, We're very excited about that. It was a great team. And then lastly, the results were amazing and will show themselves in the business community immediately. So we're really excited about it. I want to introduce John to talk a little bit about both the process and the team and the outcomes. And thank you very much.
Hello, my name is John Mancone. I'm the Chief Public Protection Inspector for the Department of Business Regulation, and also led this lean initiative for liquor licensing. Just a brief background of what we license. Basically, manufacturers, breweries, wineries, distilleries, and also wholesalers. And we found that when they came to our office to get the application, we were always kind of proud because they'd always say to us, this was the easiest portion of getting a liquor license because they had to deal with the federal government. That held them up for years. And we always kind of, we did good, yeah. Until we dissected the entire process and found all the waste and extra steps and repetitiveness that was not needed. One brief example was the liquor licensing aide. After she completed all the paperwork, we had our hearing. She would actually call, now she had a number assigned through commercial licensing. She would call down to the legal staff, get another number assigned to it, create another file, and give it to them. So you had the same file in two places with two distinct numbers. Nobody knows why, it was always done that way. That was an easy one. All we said was, stop doing it. A lot of the changes we are looking to implement do require regulatory and legislative changes, and that does take some time. But we have found that just the simple things that we've done, just stopping things like that, have really improved the process and created an atmosphere where we're getting a lot of calls. People want to come to Rhode Island from Connecticut, from Massachusetts, because they find that it's more business friendly, and we're hoping to maintain that and increase the growth of new businesses such as liquor manufacturers and wholesalers locating in Rhode Island.
Thanks, John. Thanks.
Everyone, I wanted to bring up the whole team that participated in our letters of good standing. My name is Nina Savage. I'm the acting tax administrator for the state. We have Matt Cody, Neil Cayette, Sherry O'Connor, Lori Bakari, Maureen Ewing of the Secretary of State, Richard Koya, and Jacques Morrow, who's the Chief of Compliance and Collections. Carl Wadenston, before this meeting, came up to me and said, you are the rock stars of Lee. And I am, I want to use that quote because I know that, but I wanted to take this opportunity to recognize our team. They've done a phenomenal job, and they are working hard to make government work for business. We're looking at every one of our functions through that lens. We're making things easier, we're streamlining, and we are enhancing efficiencies. A year ago, it took 93 days to process a letter of good standing. Today, we're at 34 days, and a year from now, we hope to be at 45 minutes. That's I'd like to introduce Jacques Morrow, who's the Chief of Compliance and Collections, to talk about the steps that they took and what they did. They deserve all the credit, and I am so proud and honored to work with them every day. Thank you.
Thank you, Nina. Good morning, everybody. I would like to first thank Governor Raimondo for putting this initiative forward, as well as Brian Daniels and Andy Monka with OMB. I first went a year ago to Andy Monka's 101 training and moved forward through our lean event here on the Letters of Good Standing. For those of you that aren't familiar, a Letter of Good Standing is an application that taxpayers submit. Taxpayers are the customers. They submit the application to get a picture of their tax compliance. And this team, I just walked in periodically, asked questions, answered questions, but the team worked tremendously hard during the entire week. And they deserve all the credit for where we're at today and where we're going to be in a year. As Nina mentioned, the current status is 34 days. What I did want to highlight is the number of steps. The team identified that currently there are 152 steps in the process. We didn't identify that in the slides here today, but 152 steps is quite a bit of steps. the goal a year from now, in conjunction with our online portal system, which will go live within the next year, will be down to 16 steps. And that's what will enable us to go from a 34-day processing time to a 1-day processing time, or 45 minutes, as Nina said. And that's the online application and being able to secure the letter of good standing online. So we are looking forward to a year from now, and we're already implementing changes with requirements that we can minimize, which will help the taxpayers get their letter of good standing sooner. So I want to give kudos to the team again, and thank you all for inviting us to the presentation.
Order at Vibeco. It was one of my first insights into your style that you've employed in the state in the last year. We were at Vibeco and you came up to me and you said that you needed $100,000 for the lien initiative. That wasn't the part, that was not unexpected. And what I said was, we'll do 50 if you can get a match of 50. And your answer was, I don't know if I'll have time to do that this afternoon. You didn't say you had to do it that afternoon, but that gave me a little style. And lo and behold, that 50 was actually matched, and I announced the company before, $61,000. This is an amazing effort. I said before, the most impressive thing to me is that I truly believe this will enhance every taxpayer's confidence and appreciation for what's done in state government by going through these improvements. And I've never heard more positive stories just than we've heard in the last 5 minutes. Governor Raimondo, thanks for all you're doing.
Thank you, Neil, I appreciate that, and I assume you're standing back for your next assignment.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is exciting. You know, this is exciting. Great kudos and thanks and gratitude to Neil and the foundation and the corporate partners who have stepped up to make this a reality. Thank you. You know, we are, I think, making the $100,000 go about as far as possible, and these are the results. I also want to thank Carl. Carl came to me and he said, you know, what you really need to do is have mentors. You have to have mentors from the private sector who've done this, who can give a hand to our cabinet secretaries who are doing this, and the mentors have stepped up. In fact, shortly you're going to hear from a couple of my directors and their mentors to get a real feel for the value of mentors. So thank you to Carl, and thank you to all of the mentors who've given us your time to do this. Major thank you to my team. It gives me great pride, really, to look out and see my cabinet assembled here. You guys are amazing. You're working incredibly hard under difficult circumstances and tight budgets and public scrutiny every day. You're doing a great job, and I'm proud of you. So thank you all for your work. It's actually great to see so many of you here. I would say today is the 1-year anniversary of when I signed the executive order, and the results are phenomenal. You know, I have to say it's exceeded my expectations, which is a credit to everybody in this room. To date, we've done 50 process reviews. You know, what is that, 1 a week? I mean, that's incredible. And over 1,600 state employees have received lean training, and nearly 40 lean ambassadors have been identified across state agencies. There's the future, I think. And we've just gotten started. We've done this in a year. So if we maintain this pace, we're going to have the most effective, efficient state government in the country, and that is, of course, our goal. Why does this matter? It matters for a couple reasons. It matters because we're entrusted with the people's money, and it's our responsibility to do the best we can with that money, to move. You know, for businesses, we want to move at the speed of business. For citizens, we want to make sure that we have an effective, efficient, action-oriented government. And that's exactly what we're seeing. That, in my judgment, is the only antidote to all the negativity that you see, and to all of the kind of government bashing and public employee bashing that you see. These results, you cannot argue with the work that you're doing, and I think it's the only way to get back the public's trust. So that's why it matters, and we're doing it. You know, the second reason it matters is because if you're a small business owner and you see what DVR is doing, you're gonna be that much more excited about being in Rhode Island and adding jobs in Rhode Island. If you are a business owner who needs to interact with DMV, you ought to be happy to know that it takes less time to get a title now than it used to. It takes less time to get a liquor license than it used to. It takes less, we're moving. It takes less time to get a DEM environmental permit than it used to. I've said there is no one thing that's gonna supercharge this economy. But all of these things are adding up, and we are turning heads and people are noticing. Last year, the unemployment rate in Rhode Island fell more than in almost any other state in the country. We created over 6,000 jobs. We have momentum. And the reason is because all the work that you do, that is mostly done without great fanfare or praise, is adding up. Because small businesses and families interact with government every day. 1,000 points of friction, right? And by leaning everything, you're greasing the skids, and that is making things move faster. And when I hear from small businesses, they say to me, hey, it's getting better, it's going faster, I feel optimistic, I'm feeling confident, I'm adding jobs. So I say thank you to everybody, all of you who played a role in this, and let's just keep going. We're on a roll, people, so let's keep it going. So thank you for the state of Rhode Island. In addition to being a huge champion and volunteer and supporter for the lean effort, Carl's also on the Commerce Corporation board. Last night we had a 3-hour board meeting, a huge agenda, we're getting a ton done, and this guy shows up every time prepared, hitting it hard. And I gotta say, Rhode Island's economic comeback relies on everyone raising their hand and saying, how can I help? And this guy says yes every time. So please welcome Carl Waddington.
A little bit of a sense of department that I work. We will very soon embark in a new eligibility system. Many of you perhaps know it as UHIP. It is the most transformative, innovative system that we will have in the state of Rhode Island. And I knew when I took this position that we could not implement such a system with some of the processes and paperwork that we had in the department. So I had a sense of urgency to begin lean and to eliminate a lot of the waste that would get in the way of the technology. And I have to say that lean has been a game changer for DHS. We are about to go live with the system in July, and I'm very comfortable and confident that the system will work because we have eliminated a lot of the waste. I could not have done that by myself. I needed a mentor, and that's precisely what I got from the governor when I started working. But let me share with you one of my first meetings with Leslie. It was the fact that sense of urgency got me very frustrated, and there was a lot of issues that we needed to work through. And when I shared that with Leslie, she said, yeah, I understand what you're saying. And I said, you do? I work at the Department of Human Services. There are a lot of issues there. How do you understand? And we continued the conversation, and she said something else that I said. She said, I got it, I know exactly. And she began to share. Quickly, I knew that she was not just trying to relate to me, but she truly was going through the same issues that I was going through. I thought they were very unique to DHS and government. The lesson there is that it is great to have somebody in a different environment who we could share our frustrations in an environment that you're not going to be judged because you're the director, you need to know the answers. And to understand that the variables may be different, but it's the same experience because lean is a journey and we're all learning from it. Thank you.
So first I want to say thanks for inviting me to this cool event and for the warm welcome. I want to talk a little bit about the mentorship program. The thing that I find so great about taking folks from industry, me, and pairing them up with directors in government is everybody says, well, they can't do this in government because they do it over here in business. And the one thing I think part of our discussion, which was really great, was we're not different. We're not different. The challenges aren't different over in government than they are in private industry. We all face challenges. We're all trying to figure out how to do it faster and better and more efficiently and with a higher quality, and really keeping focus on our customers at all times. So when we were talking and she was saying, no, I think it's only things in my department, I said, no, it's not. Lean works on the process, but it's really about engaging the people, because the ideas are gonna come from people. And so in that, we can relate and we can talk about things that have worked and shared lessons learned, talk about challenges and how we worked our way around those. But I think the mentorship program, with all of the initiatives that you're doing around Lean, Governor, I think is going to be a critically important element to the success of that and going through that process, because when we can share and we can learn from one another, it saves a lot of time. It saves people from thinking that they're on an island with no one there. We're that handout to say, no, you're not on that island alone. Let's go figure this out together. So I applaud your efforts in this arena. Thank you to everybody in this room. I know the mentors are excited as the mentees, and I am so excited because I know I'm gonna learn a ton from them. So thank you very much.
And Gilbane Construction would talk to each other. So our 1 hour meeting is about 2.5 hours. Primarily because, as they said, we focused on what are leadership traits that we can share together. A lot of what the governor's talked about, what we've seen today, are tactical and very specific changes on process. And what Steve and I spend our time thinking about and how we want to foster our mentor-mentee relationship is, how do you sustain that change? How, from a leadership perspective, do you drive that down into an organization? Because it's exciting for the pockets that get to do it, with everybody else watching. A lot of what we are trying to solve together is, how do you keep that momentum and spread it through the organization? We plan to observe each other in our environments, because talking about it doesn't do justice to how both of our worlds exist. So Steve is going to invite me to his leadership meetings in his organization. He's going to spend time in my organization to understand, as Melba said, you think that you're alone, you think that what you experience and the struggle that we have running public agencies is not dissimilar. So we're gonna spend time learning each other's and figure out, how do I drive change and how do I keep morale high as we push this initiative through the entire organization. So thank you for the opportunity.
I don't want to repeat things, but the construction industry and the DCYF couldn't be more of a contrast. And when we started the discussion, I'm blessed to not have ever had to use the services. But what we shared is actually pretty remarkable. Jamie cares deeply, deeply for the people that work for her. I share that. We share many things in leadership that we are both very, very deeply passionate about, and our conversations were really surrounded those discussions. And I do challenge Governor the being called a mentor. I feel like when I meet Jamie and have discussions with her, it's I'm the beneficiary of this relationship, truly. So, thank you.
Goals for year 1 of the Lean Initiative. We are very much looking forward to year 2 and taking it bigger, broader, deeper. This year we'll continue to focus on business process improvements so that government can work more effectively. There's 17 going on right now and many more in the months ahead. DM is also doing a cross-agency Lean, partnering with DOT, and I think that is the next step, is making sure that where we have multiple agencies involved with the same company, that we're working together to make the process seamless for that entity. The Lean program, led ably by Andy Manka with leadership and oversight by Brian Daniels, will continue to train and support our staff. And Andy's working on a next advanced training program so that people who are eager and hungry to have more advanced Lean tools will have that opportunity. We'll also, of course, be moving forward with the mentor program. Carl mentioned that he has attended several of the report outs. We are going to share information and encourage each of the mentors to come to some of the report outs so you can see organically the work that we're doing. We're also seeing mentors like Tim Hebert, who you heard from, like Jackie Bashar, like Bob Imbroglio, offer additional opportunities for us to participate in their training and their leadership programs. So thank you. We all want government to work better and to deliver for Rhode Islanders. This program has proven tangible results at the smallest levels and at the biggest levels. And it's a privilege to be part of it, to work with such a fantastic group of people. I do think that I've not heard of a program where we have the private sector engagement so directly with public leaders to improve leadership. So thank you all. Onward and upward. Go Leaders.